Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Nara and here we're discussing all things astrology, spirituality, and this video is about Pisces or Neptune in the 5th house of your astrological chart. So if you happen to have Pisces or Neptune in the 5th, then welcome to this video. So what is 5th house? 5th house represents kids, children. We can actually look at how many the amount of children you'll have in this lifetime. 5th house represents romantic relationships. It represents romantic relationships that are not necessarily of serious nature. It's not necessarily marriage, which is represented by the 7th house of the chart, right, in astrology. 5th house is literally just like casual connections we have, like the dating, the people we're drawn to, and stuff like that. And then the 5th house is also your creativity and your hobbies, okay? So if we are to look at this placement from a romantic standpoint, so that has like so much Piscean energy and Neptunian dissolving energy in the 5th house. That shows us that this person is very romantic and they like to fantasize a lot about romance. They're like hopeless romantics, and they love to see the bigger picture. They love to see the good in the people they're drawn to, and it's really great because this placement can literally create a fairy tale when it comes to romance. You can some of those fairy tales that we read in our childhood about, romantic relationships. This is this placement, okay? However, there's a danger with this placement as well, because sometimes these people can only see the good and completely overlook the reality of things. So they can completely overlook the negative traits of their partners or the people they're drawn to. And they're also drawn to people who are unavailable. Like they like to create that fantasy of the best partner for themselves, right? And then it can only stay in a fantasy a lot of the times. It's not being manifested in the external reality because they create such an image of a partner that is non-existent sometimes. And when they meet someone who meets certain criteria of their imagination, they are totally convinced that this is their person, okay, without even like getting extra information and details about them, and they just like build off of that picture that they created in their imagination, and they will believe in that fantasy about their partner for pretty much a long time until they are being hit with the reality of things, where a partner either betrays them or cheats on them or does something like overtly, which shows that they completely overlook the negative part. So this placement, you guys got to be very careful, okay, in romantic relationships. Also because of Neptune, right? Neptune belongs to the 12th house and Pisces belongs to the 12th house. So the 12th house placement, I have Venus in the 12th. It's also connected, this interpretation is similar to me because Venus is the romantic relationships and the 12th house belongs to Pisces and Neptune. So for the longest time in my life, I've been drawn to people who were unavailable, either emotionally or not married necessarily, but who were already involved romantically. And I would be drawn to those people. I would never be drawn to people who liked me, who were ready to commit to me, okay? So this is something I had to work on, and this is a similar placement. So you guys might be drawn to people who are unavailable emotionally, mentally, physically, maybe they're involved with other people, and you created that picture in your head and you just believe that one day they'll leave this person for you, or they'll change somehow, or your fantasy will be fulfilled in some way. But that's not the case with this placement. So you guys need to keep your head clear and not too much in the clouds when it comes to romantic relationships, because these people with this placement can be manipulated. they can be taken advantage of just because of that Neptunian nature, only see the best in other people, especially in romantic relationships. Also, but this placement, honestly, if you find somebody, if you keep your head clear, if you are staying conscious and self-aware and not allowing yourself to just create fantasies that are not based in reality, this placement will literally attract to you people who fulfill you spiritually, and this relationship will just be of such spiritual nature. It will satisfy you spiritually and, you know, on a very soul level, which not a lot of people have. Even, you know, a lot of people are in marriage for a very long time, like 10 plus years, and they're still not fulfilled, right? So this placement shows us that it's easy to find spiritual fulfillment out of relationship, but only after you've done that conscious evaluation of your fantasies in regards to romantic relationships, if that makes any sense. If we are to look at this placement from a standpoint of children, so these people love children. Pisces in the fifth or Neptune in the fifth, these people love children and they're drawn to children, honestly. Children, you know, whenever you may not have, as a Pisces in the fifth, a kid or you know, nephews, but you may be subconsciously drawn to children, like in a playground if you see them. They give you that spiritual fulfillment and remind you of your soul's good traits, I would say, you know, like that dissolving nature, like wanting to sacrifice for children, you know, wanting to, like, empathy towards children. It also, you know, when you guys are around children, it brings you back to your childhood, where you remember the best parts of your childhood and you get that motivation from children. So it's really good to be around children with this placement. Also, if we are to look at how many kids you're gonna have from this placement, it denotes that person with this placement will have more than one kid, because it's Neptune, Pisces, right? It's mutable sign, meaning that it dissolves, right, with the environment. So this person might have multiple kids. Also, with this placement, people may sometimes, if you already have a kid, this placement may show us that these people are, you know, creating that fantasy about their child, which is non-existent, and they worship a child in some way, you know. They may also interfere with a child's creative abilities and hobby, like pursuits, creative pursuits. They may literally, you know, dictate what their kids should be, not give so much freedom, but they also love unconditionally their children. Not that they expect anything from their children, but what they expect, honestly, is that they are of the same spiritual nature. But if a kid doesn't want to be spiritual, these people with this placement may literally force a child to become spiritual and, like, do meditations and whatever, be more religious. So it's something to be aware of. And then these people may also, they may be connected to their child so much so that they don't allow that child to form their own separate identity outside of their parents and household. So in the beginning of life, you know, the first 10 years, 15, whatever, is all good, right? However, when a child becomes an adult and he has to go home, they have to, you know, figure out life and become someone, it will be very hard for these people. So it's very important for parents who have this placement to allow your kids to have their separate identity and to develop the separate identity outside of their mother or father, okay? And then also with this placement, Neptune is a karmic planet, right? So sometimes it requires us to dissolve things, meaning give it up or completely, you know, reject them. Because this placement shows us the karmic lesson, and it can be only taught after you give it up, something up. And by looking at the nature of the house, we can look definitely what you should give up. So it may be romantic partners you should give up in order to get bigger insights and realizations about yourself and your life. If you obviously made many mistakes and haven't developed an identity and just been dreaming and fantasizing of partners that are non-existent, this partner will be taken away from you so that you learn your lesson, why it all happened, and how you should proceed from now onwards when it comes to your romantic relationships. So this is something to be aware of. You do not have to freaking wait for this stuff to happen, for stuff to be taken away from you, no matter where your Neptune is. Just get that insight and start working on your Pisces in the 5th or Neptune in the 5th, okay? Because if you don't, then it's gonna turn out worse. But sometimes this is how we learn as well. So yeah, you got a choice always with astrology. This placement shows us hobbies and creative pursuits. Hey Maz, hey baby. So this placement shows us creative pursuits and hobbies and what you're drawn to. These people are very artistic and very creative. They're very creative, okay? But the danger with this placement is that sometimes they think that they need to be influenced by other people, and this stops the creativity levels, okay? Sometimes other people pop up in their lives, and because of that Neptunian nature, they like to dissolve with other people and become what other people want them to be instead of being what they want to be, okay? They can actually like the fact that they're drawn to something creative, but at the same time, they like to mutate and dissolve with other people because that gives them spiritual fulfillment, so they can give up their hobbies and creative pursuits because of other people's influence them, okay? So it's something to be aware of. So if this happens to you, but you in reality want to pursue your creative hobbies, then don't be influenced by other people, or use that influence as a motivation to create something regarding your hobby, whatever you're drawn to. Because these people have such great imagination. They can write music, only if they allow their imagination to go wild and allow themselves to be weird as they want to be without being judged by other people. And literally that judgment part and feeling guilt of not being able to, you know, be whatever other people want from them, because Neptune is this, right? I will become whatever other people want me to be. So they can completely give up their creative pursuits because they think that they have to be somebody else. They have to be what other people want them to be because of that Neptune karmic. Also with this placement, people can literally give up their creative pursuits because other people don't like what they do, or other people don't want them to be as creative as they want to be, and other people want them, like mother especially is a culprit here, didn't allow them to become what they wanted, or completely rejected in their childhood. Maybe they don't even remember that themselves. It's something subconscious. Rejected their creativity or hobbies, and instead directed their life towards a routine job. So these people may give up completely the creative pursuits and something they've been drawn to as kids, and become what their parents wanted them to be, or other people wanted them to be, or family members, but especially mother in that case. And they may have a boring life, like routine job, and completely give up on their creativity. Because remember, wherever you have Neptune, you'll have to give something up of spiritual nature because of other people's influences. And in this case, it may be mother. You might give up your creative pursuits and hobbies because other people did not acknowledge what you've been doing, and they directed you, no, you should do this instead. And you're like, yeah, they're kind of right, you know? So yeah, something to be aware of, you know? Alrighty guys, I feel like I've covered pretty much everything I wanted to cover for this video, for this placement. It took me a while to take this video because my phone my storage was full and I had to re-record a video multiple times. So let me just wrap it up here before my storage gets full again. So I hope that video resonated with you guys. If it did, please leave a comment in a section down below. I would love to hear your interpretation with a Pisces in the 5th or Neptune in the 5th. Or if it didn't resonate, I would love to hear your interpretations. So yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye y'all.